We are anonymous. We are the watchers. We are the tellers of hidden truth. We analyze global warfare and covert operations. Tonight, we bring you a story not from a battlefield in the open, but from the shadows of logistics, supply chains, and quiet suburbs, the battlefront of drugs, power, and infiltration inside the United States. In the early hours of a gray Puget Sound morning, federal agents moved in. Warehouses, ports, suburban garages, all targets of a sweeping dawn raid. The mission, code-named Operation Take Back America, was the result of an 18-month task force by the Drug Enforcement Administration, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives working in unified command. Helicopters hovered over industrial parks, drones mapped out safe houses, and strike teams breached garages and sheds between Everett and Tacoma. The target was a command cell of the Sinaloa cartel, operating inside United States borders, not merely smuggling product in, but embedding logistics, finance, and distribution channels into American soil. The cartel's branch in the Pacific Northwest had built itself quietly, like a corporation. Freight forwarders, trucking firms, customs brokers, and legal trade routes were all folded into the system. Semi-trucks, labeled as carrying fertilizer, or household goods moved tightly sealed chemical containers up the I-5 corridor, stalked warehouses and gave cover to shipments of death. The investigation documented staggering numbers. In the public indictment, 19 individuals were charged, tied directly to the Sinaloa cartel, facing 37 federal counts, including conspiracy, drug trafficking, and weapons violations. The arrests covered Seattle-Tacoma and surrounding counties. Agents seized more than 4,000 pounds of methamphetamine, 269 pounds of fentanyl, 23 pounds of cocaine, 6.4 pounds of heroin, and a cache of 23 firearms, some modified for automatic fire, plus explosive materials hidden inside suburban garages. The amount of fentanyl alone was enough to kill every person in both the Seattle and Tacoma metro areas, an estimated 6.9 million lethal doses. Federal prosecutors described the ring not as an import operation, but as a domestic production and distribution hub. From strongholds in Sinaloa, Mexico, the operation ran a pipeline through California freight depots and ended in Washington's ports and warehouse districts. Leading it were two brothers, Rosario, Abel, Joaquin Camargo Banuelos, 31, and his younger brother Francisco Fernando Camargo Banuelos, 24. They controlled people and logistics, not just drugs moving by hand, but the full infrastructure of a cartel enterprise. Couriers and local distribution cells ran operations across the region, from Whidbey Island and Arlington in the north to Tacoma and Lacey in the south. One Mexican truck driver, arrested in early 2024, moved the large loads that made this network function. Local redistributors from Everett and Shoreline were indicted. The brothers routed messages through encrypted channels, dummy accounts, and foreign servers. Their finances ran through cryptocurrency wallets and shell corporations in Delaware and Mexico City, laundered through small import-export businesses. In short, this operation treated American highways like conveyor belts, turning legitimate commerce into the cover for deadly trafficking. But embedment goes deeper. Local governments and agencies found themselves challenged. ICE officials accused municipal authorities of releasing known public safety threats tied to the cartel, refusing to cooperate, and forcing federal agents to act unilaterally. The mayor of Seattle declared his city a sanctuary regardless of immigration status, setting the stage for confrontation between immigrant advocacy on one side and federal enforcement on the other. Protesters filled the streets with dueling messages, sanctuary for all versus stop the cartel infiltration. The battlefield in this case was not in remote jungles or enemy camps. It was in the suburbs, the highways, the port districts of a major United States city. The operation pulled back the curtain to show how the cartel doesn't just pass through borders. It plants roots. It becomes a branch office, a part of the system. They stored drugs in garages and rental properties. They used everyday shipping manifests to mask lethal chemical containers. They operated as business rather than gang. Yet at the heart of this story is the human cost. In Washington State, overdose deaths in 2023 reached 3,477, 76% tied directly to fentanyl. In King County, deaths passed 1,000 for the first time. Morgues were operating at near capacity. First responders received multiple overdose calls every day. Counterfeit pills disguised as Adderall, oxycodone, or Xanax contained more than 2 milligrams of fentanyl, enough to kill the average adult in minutes. These aren't statistics. They are families shattered. Children lost, communities under siege. The takedown wasn't random. It was months of tracking encrypted chats, tracing wire transfers, decoding a supply network designed to blend into normal commerce. More than a dozen interconnected cells spread between Seattle, Tacoma, and smaller towns handled transport, storage, manufacturing, or street distribution. The federal agencies brought military-like precision. More than 600 agents, officers, and analysts operated in sequence over a 36-hour window. Drones mapped the terrain. Strike teams breached safe houses, and hazmat teams neutralized grenade components stored next to narcotics. The operation was described by investigators as logistics-based infiltration rather than traditional smuggling. The message sent by United States law enforcement is clear. The cartel threat is no longer just at the border. It is within our cities, using our infrastructure, hiding in plain sight. By dismantling this operation, federal officials signaled that they will treat domestic embedment networks the same way they treat foreign terrorist organizations. The Sinaloacartel, one of the most powerful trafficking organizations in history, remains active across more than 40 countries, driving the fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine supply into the United States. Our story does not end with arrests. 6 of the indicted targets still remain at large. Money laundering schemes continue. Smuggling routes adapt. One seizure of $650,000 in cash, combined with weapons and explosive materials, reflects that the cartel is not just trafficking drugs. They are arming themselves, building resilience. The operation revealed that modern cartel operations rely on technology and finance as much as they rely on violence. Only enforcement built on digital forensics, data fusion, and interagency coordination can dismantle them. From the dawn raids in Seattle to the couriers moving vans up the West Coast, the war is underway. The battleground is everyday America. The enemy is logistics. We are the watchers. We tell this story so you understand what is happening beyond the headlines. Do not take it for granted. Ask questions. Demand answers. Stay aware. Share this information. Spread the truth. And now, if you are watching this video, click like, subscribe. Hit the bell, comment. Yes, if you stand with us in exposing the operations that hide in plain sight. Share the video on your timeline. Every view is part of the resistance. We are anonymous. We are legion. Expect us